All right, you guys. We are back once again with the Ill Behavior. This is the Ill Bill, and welcome to the Chill with Bill show. Hey, child-free men, speaking out on being child-free. I don't even know. Let's see what it is.
How come if someone asks you if you want kids and you say no, you get, like, interrogated?
There's a lot of us out there who've decided not to procreate.
Man, you'd love it. No, I'd love to binge on Netflix and booze until I'm cross-eyed and covered in Doritos at 3 a.m.
I live a pretty carefree, kind of introverted life. I'm not ready for that type of link.
Childless men. A lot of people think they're little to non-existent, but they actually exist and they're out here. And it was kind of hard.
I think it's more than 50% of men, like, between a certain age are childless, right?
Finding videos where men were actually talking about being child-free, because a lot of them, they end up commenting on other videos, but no one actually comes out and talks about it. Full disclaimer, this video is not to sway you in one way or the other. If you are a father, comment down below the beauties of being a father, and if you are a child-free man, I would definitely love to see your comment down below telling us why you aren't a father, as well as fathers letting us know why you decided to be a father, like I have done with all my other videos. I am interested in those that are and those that aren't, and the reasons for both, not just one particular group. Let's get into these. These are TikTok compilations, as well as two guys that I found on YouTube talking about this, and I believe they are for like full-time YouTubers, if not part-time, doesn't really matter. And I will have their links to the videos down below. Let's get into it.
10 reasons why I decided to live a child-free life. I want to let other child-free people know you're not alone. There's a lot of us out there who've decided not to procreate. For people who might be trying to decide if they want to have kids or not, I'm gonna give you 10 reasons why you shouldn't have them. Do what you want with those. And finally, for people who already have kids, these are some reasons to put them up for adoption. I'm joking. You had the fun making them babies, now you got to raise them. Reason number one why I'm living a child-free life and don't want to have kids is because they're expensive. They are expensive.
Really? You got to do better, bro. Make more money. Kids are not that expensive to raise.
All the people I know who got kids is all
like, if you want to send them to college, Ivy League school, cool. Yeah, do that. But the brokest of the brokest poor people have kids. It ain't no thing.
Always complaining about being broke because of the kids. Kids are expensive. And it's not like you only have to like pay out money for 3-4 years. It's like 18 years.
I feel like a lot of the people that complain about being broke because they have kids are people who are not good with money in the first place, who can't budget, who don't really, they ain't out there getting it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? People who are putting in that work. I mean, they're gonna say, yeah, having a kid costs money. It's expensive, but they're not gonna be broke because of the kids. If you broke, you broke. I mean, it doesn't really take that much to raise a kid. I mean, like monthly, you know what I mean, maintenance. Like there are some things that are expensive, from time to time, right? And then when you add on like extra things like travel and stuff, like in the beginning, yeah, diapers and formula, if that's what you're doing, like those things cost money for sure, right? But like so does food, you know what I mean? The thing is like you're gonna end up buying more food when your kid's older. You buy less food when your kid's younger, but you spend that money on other things, right? Like. And, hopefully you have a village. I don't know. Let's go.
And then some. Even when they grown, they want money. It's just, it starts out with diapers and Pampers and it's school clothes, and then it's the dentist, and then it's soccer jerseys, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. It never seems to stop. I work hard for my money, especially times like now when I'm physically in hotel rooms, scrubbing toilets, making beds. I'll work too hard for that money to give it to some kid.
Yeah, so that's the issue. That's really the issue. Bro, do better. Go out there and learn a skill that somebody's willing you to pay more for than scrubbing toilets. Like, I mean, I'm not like talking down on the man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're broke, but you're broke anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're what J-O-B, just over broke, right? Job. That's what that shit means. You gotta do better. And you're old enough right now to where there's really no excuse. You ain't got no kids, or if you're not married, you know what I mean? You ain't, like, you should be out there working 2-3 jobs, going to school at night, like developing a trade, you know what I'm saying? All that energy you could be doing electrical or plumbing. Come on.
No. And then if you factor in child support, if it goes wrong between me and my partner, we don't stay together, we separate.
That's an issue. But that's not about the kids. That's about your choice in partners.
It's 99.999% probability I'm going to be the one paying the child support. And that's like government man.
I don't know. Not if you only clean toilets for a living, bro. Like, because you ain't gonna be able to support neither one of y'all. She gonna have to work. She probably got a better job.
Dated. I don't need the government mandating a certain part of my check, disappears every week. They already do that with taxes. I don't need that. You know what I mean? And so when I just think about the money I would lose raising a child, not for me.
Bro, you know what has never made sense to me? How come if someone asks you if you want kids and you say no,
I wonder what happened to the other 9 reasons.
you get like interrogated? They're like, what? Why? Why wouldn't you want kids? But if you say you do want kids, they don't question you. Shouldn't it be the other way around? It's like, why don't you want kids? Because they're annoying. It's a lot of responsibility. They cost a lot of money. It's like the list goes on. It's obvious why you wouldn't want kids. We should question why you would want kids. Like if they're like, do you want kids when you get married? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, what? Why? What's wrong? I'm like, well, why do you want them? And they're like, why do I? They're bundles of joy. They bring so much meaning to life. I'm like, do they? Do they though, or do you just feel like you have to do that? Because most parents I know are absolutely miserable and they age 10 years in a matter of 2. So I think
I tell them that all my gray hair came from my kid. I mean, I owned a full-on business with 26 employees, and we were doing a few $1 million annually, and it didn't cause me to lose no hair or grow no gray. This came from my kid, 100%, and the relationship.
I think we should reverse the old why on that question.
Reason number 2, I've decided to live a child-free life. It's a lifelong obligation. I don't do well with responsibility, okay?
I mean, lifelong, I guess, but once they're 18, then hopefully they're taking on a life of their own, right? And your responsibility becomes less and less and less. I mean,
hey, anybody who knows me knows that I like a very carefree, low drama, low obligation life. To bring into my life a lifelong obligation, I just know I wouldn't do well with that. Even if I would if I ever had a child, I would do what I had to do. You know what I mean? I would not be a deadbeat dad. I would take on that obligation, but I would be crying on the inside, probably the outside. I just don't do well lifelong obligations. I'm definitely not gonna bring one into my life that can't go away, that I can't quit.
Number 1, I've never felt like there should be more of me in the world. I love my marriage, and I don't want to give that up. I don't know anything, and I'm not ready to teach the children. Number 4, I have a cat. Kids hold us back. Which brings me to number 6, I don't think there should be children anymore. People aren't great. So I explain all this to my wife. She says, I know all of that, and I think you'd be a good dad.
Third reason I don't have kids, and this goes along with the second one, it's just added stress. It is added stress. Another thing I hear from parents is that you constantly worry that your child is okay. They go to school, you worry somebody's gonna shoot up the school. You know what I mean? They wherever they go, these days, you got to worry about something happening. My stress levels are right. You know what I mean? Where they need to be. They're good now. And I do things like meditate. I'm always out in nature, try to hold those stress levels down. I'm not gonna bring a child into this world and raise it way up here. I don't know if I can deal with that.
who takes care of this man when he hits 70 or develops, Alzheimer's or cancer?
And let's be honest, if I had a child and something did happen to them, I'm not strong enough to deal with that. You know what I mean? Think what you think about me. I'm telling you, if I had a child and I developed that bond, that love, if it's as strong as parents say, and something happened to that child, they got sick, they got really hurt, they died, whatever, I'm not strong enough. Too much stress. I'm good where I'm at.
So when are you guys having kids? Whenever you're ready.
What they say stress was designed for... Oh no, is it stress or pressure? It's both, right? Designed for shoulders, not hips.
To babysit 7 days a week. Come on, don't you want to bring a little mini you into the world? I can't take care of regular-sized me. I got married just so I'd have supervision. But kids are so rewarding. So are pizza rolls. Man, you'd love it. No, I'd love to binge on Netflix and booze until I'm cross-eyed and covered in Doritos at 3 a.m. Are you okay? No. God, no. Any more questions?
Reason number 4. Kids are a joint venture. You know what I mean? So in order to have a kid, there got to be 2 people. That was 4. 2 people. You can do that too this day and age if you want to. I'm sure. 2 people. I haven't met somebody that I wanted to have kids with. Any of the women.
In the 55 years you've been on this planet, you ain't met not one woman. Something going on there. I'm just saying. Something going on there. From just like a sheer physical standpoint, I mean, I'm sure there have been plenty of women. Mental, there ain't a lot of women that I've been with that I want to have kids with.
Women that I've met that were like might have been like decent for mothers, they wasn't trying to have kids either. You know what I'm saying? And that is not a
Probably because they already had kids.
slight on women. I'm definitely not on that. There's no good women bandwagon out there. I'm just saying that, like, I haven't met someone who I just looked at and was like, we could have kids, and she was like, oh yeah, he's good for, you know what I mean? A lot of women probably,
Yeah, because that's not how it happens, bro.
look at me like, he'd be a horrible dad, you know what I mean? It's a joint venture. I've just never been in a situation where it clicked and both of us were just like wanted to stay together long enough to have a kid, and we both thought we would be good parents. You know, it just never, you know, it takes two to tango. I ain't found nobody I really want to tango with like that.
You should not be having kids if you can't afford them. So the average cost of daycare now per month is basically another mortgage payment? Yeah, I can't afford that. Oh my gosh, you don't want kids? That's so selfish of you. What will your parents think? What will your family think? But you just said don't have them if you can't afford them. And I can't afford 2 mortgages, plus all the other accompanying costs. That's so selfish of you.
Number 5.
So the whole child care for kids, that's if you're by yourself. You know, I mean, if you're having kids with another person, you guys do the right thing, you know what I mean? You get married or whatever, like, and you plan it, you know, plan who's working, how the finances are going to get played. Like, why would you pay somebody else to raise your kids? You know what I mean? Now, kids do need socialization, like daycare. You know, from time to time, certain days, you know, they need to play with other kids, especially if they don't have any siblings, right? They need to be able to, like, learn how to share, learn social interactions, learn how to follow rules from other people, you know what I mean, like, who are in charge, right? Learn how to deal with the stresses of being a child and being around other kids. You can't just learn that, you know, for 10, 20 minutes, an hour on the playground every day or every other day. Like, they need interactions without parents' involvement, right? So that part, you know, but from sun up to sundown, you know, daycare nanny, like, no, that ain't it.
I probably wouldn't be a good parent. 5th reason.
That's
I don't want to have
true.
kids. I'll be honest. I probably would not be a good parent because I'd probably be one of those pissed off all the time parents because of some of the reasons we already talked about. I'm broke.
No, I don't think so. Like, when you have only people without kids talk like this. Once you have kids, like, your mindset changes, you know what I mean?
Stressed. I got to feed these kids every day, 3-4 times a day.
Gotta
They
feed
keep eating
yourself.
my food, you know.
You got to feed yourself on the same schedule. What's the problem? You make a little extra, you know what I mean? Like, 9 times out of 10, I'm just making extra. Like, yes, I don't want to eat fucking corn dogs every other day. Like, no, I don't want to eat pizza every fucking day. No, I don't want to eat cheeseburgers every day. But if you mix it up and you're not feeding your kid trash, then you're both eating good. It's really not that big a deal.
No, I'm in here trying to watch the WNBA game. They keep running back and forth, asking me questions. I don't know. Google it.
As a parent, like, yeah, there are things you're going to have to sacrifice. Did he just say WNBA game? I'm confused. Maybe I misheard that. But yes, kids do require a lot of attention. And quite frankly, like, if you don't give it to them, then you're going to cause problems, right? But no offense, maybe you shouldn't be sitting there watching fucking TV all damn day anyway. Like, you know, there are other things that you can do with your day that allow you to interact with your child as your child needs you. You know what I mean? Like, and you can also do things. Maybe you should start studying. Maybe you, sir, should think about trying to build a business or something and stop cleaning toilets, right? And in that time, you can also be educating your kids.
Ask ChatGPT, Daddy watching the game. I would try.
And if you pick a good partner, you know, maybe your partner is there, gives you the time. So, you know, gives you a little bit of time. She's running interference with the kids so you can watch the game. Just like you run interference with the kids so she can, you know, read her book or do whatever it is, you know, that she likes. Like, that, you guys, it's tit for tat. You guys are a family. You got to help each other in these times.
Like, y'all know I would try. And like I keep saying, if I ever, you know, somehow slipped up, if ever I had kids by accident or the Lord sent me one like he did Mary, I would do my best to be a good parent. I probably wouldn't be good at, like, I don't know nothing about kids. Like, I'm in my 40s. It's too late. I don't know.
Nobody does. And it's not too late, actually. Personally, I find that I'm so glad I waited. I'm in my 40s. My kid is young. Yes, there are things that are going to be kind of weird. I'm going to be old as shit when she graduates. You know what I mean? It can be a little difficult doing all the activities and stuff with her because my knees are shot, right? Like these things are definitely things that you have to consider. But having a kid in my 20s, like, yes, I was broke, working on my grind, drinking, not paying all my bills all the time. Like, these are things that make it very difficult to not only raise a kid, but to, just to live life in general. And so as a young man, you make the mistakes, you do all the like young man living and shit. And then, you have kids older in life, preferably, you have kids with somebody who wants to have kids with you that you can raise together. And so now you're out there on your purpose, on your grind. You've already fucked off, pardon my language, you already fucked off the early parts of your life. And now you know what you want, you know how to get money. You've learned these things. You're more headstrong about that. And now is the time when you can actually afford to have a kid. You, sir, if you're scrubbing toilets at 40, 50 years old or whatever you are, mid 40s, you're scrubbing toilets, you fucked up. You gotta fix that, bro.
I don't know about kids. I guess no parents ever do. Like, I just don't even have, I got a friend who just had a baby. She's an excellent mother. I can just tell. I hung out with her. She is an excellent mother. She naturally had that. Great parent. I can just tell. You know what I mean? If we're on the phone, baby start crying. She's like, I gotta go. My baby's crying. I gotta handle my excellent parent. If I'm on the phone, the baby start crying, I'm gonna go sit in the car, keep talking. Okay? Like, I ain't got no, that diaper.
Half of these is jokes. Like, half of these is jokes because most people would not be
For a weight. If you don't want to sit in it, you shouldn't have pooped in it. Okay. Number 6.
So that was just a compilation of TikToks, and we're still going to get into more of this, but there's room for growth and they figure it out. And then some people decide they don't want to have kids, so they don't want to figure it out. That was just 5 points that he put out there. I will link the full.
We've got money, yeah? Now tell me why every single kid on this planet thinks adults, yeah, are a walking bank, bruv. Bear asking, can you buy me this? Can you buy me sweets? Can you do that? Bruv, does it look like I have Lloyd's TSB written on my forehead? No, it doesn't. If you want this thing that bad, go get a job. I don't care that you're not old enough. Get creative, bruv. Number 2, they're just bare annoying, innit? Like, snotty and that. Just wipe your nose, bruv. Number 3, I can barely look after myself, bruv. Yeah, at my big age, I still don't know how an oven works. I just press the bloody buttons and hope for the best. Yeah, I just about feed myself for f***'s sake. So me, as a dad...
This right here, I mean... This is probably one of the major issues with today. Ooh, excuse me. We raising men to be, or raising boys to be slightly older boys.
Dad, being responsible for a whole, living human, that's just a recipe for disaster, innit, mate? Before baby voices, I can't be asked, yeah, I'm not cut out for them. You know how parents go, ooh, who should...
Your voice is terrible.
So cute. Bruv, just speak to your kid like a human. It's a human. It's just a little human.
If you speak normally to your child, it helps with their development. So I've read. Correct me if I am wrong. Next up, we have Adrian Logan. We're gonna see why he does not want to be a dad. Let's get into it.
I don't want children. And for the majority of my adult life, the past 6 or 7 years, I'm 30 now, I've been pretty confident that I don't want children. But what I haven't been confident about is answering why I don't want children. I think I figured it out. I think the reason I don't want children, I'm not certain that I could recommend this life. Don't get me wrong, I love life. I have a lot to be grateful for. I'm super privileged when we're talking about the world's population. I'm not sure that I can recommend life to a consciousness that otherwise wouldn't experience it.
This is like a bullshit statement. You don't know what it would be like without life. So yes, you can easily recommend life. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of state we're in right now, wars or climate change or whatever the fuck you believe in, you know what I mean? You don't know anything else. And quite frankly, I think it's like super selfish to be sitting here living, a living being, to say you can't recommend doing this. Like, what is the alternative? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
And I'm not sure why. I guess on one side, it's asking myself, is all the positives of life experience worth all the...
It doesn't matter. It's not like you are born and then you're burning in hell for 80 years and then you go to more hell. Like, the positives that you have, or I should say the negatives that you have in life, like, the whole point is to overcome those things. We're not all born in in the best or the worst of circumstances. Some people are, some people have it worse than others, some people have it better than others. If you're not, go out there, get a good living, get your shit together, and then the kid that you have will be born into the better life than what you were born into. Like, it's easy.
The negatives and the struggles and the uncertainties, and in particular right now, I'm not I'm not overly optimistic about the next 50 years of humanity. There's so many things that I'm aware of that are kind of impending, and I just don't know if I want to bring someone into this life at this point. I mean, life is
So 50 years from now, you won't be bringing anybody into this, and it'll be too late for you to make that decision. So that's dumb.
already complex. Through technology and our advancements and our globalization and all that stuff, life has become infinitely more complex to the point where it's become challenging to enjoy these simple things in life because it requires
For you, sir. For you, not for everybody. Right? Not everybody lives your life or thinks the way that you
there's so much work and so much effort in order to raise a family and take care of a family and have housing and get to the point where your finances and your circumstance doesn't really burden your experience of life.
I'm sorry to beat this guy up, but the thing is in general, this man has it probably easier than 99% of the population that came before him. Like, you ain't in the fucking coal mines. You're not out there, wrestling the Western Trail, right? You're not, dealing with like MRSA and, when we used to do lobotomies and Black Plague and like people, shiting in the streets. Like, you're not dealing with that. You're not moving sand, rock, and stone or whatever for 2,000 miles across continents. Like, you don't have to till land from sun up to sundown with a pitchfork. Like the people they just trip me out today. Y'all, like, people are so lazy. Like, you have no idea what your parents and your grandparents and their parents and their grandparents and had to do. You know what I mean? The struggles, what it was like to come over on the fucking Mayflower. Like, dude, like you got the internet and Netflix and chill and microwave TV dinners, right? Starbucks, like you Nike and Teslas, like man, soy boys.
Upon a time in a 5-person family, one person could work.
Matter of fact, nobody under the age of 35. Well, no, I'm not gonna say nobody, right? I mean, obviously we got people over there doing some shit, but for the most part, y'all don't know shit about war. You don't know shit about disaster. You don't know nothing about having to to go and get drafted and to do all these things. Like we weren't the World War I and II and the Civil War and all like, oh my God, just cry me a river.
A regular 40-hour a week job, and food's taken care of, the accommodations, the housing is taken care of, and you can focus on, the simple joys of life, things that bring you.
See, and that's his mindset. If I work a 40-hour a week job, then I can take care of these little things, and then I can have a simple mindset. Like, bro, like, level up. Why are you working 40 hours a week? You're not married. You don't have any fucking kids. Get to work, man. You should be putting in 60 hours plus learning another skill. Like,
joy. And don't get me wrong, I'm in that situation right now. I make enough, but just the fact that I don't think civilization is getting better with technology. Sure, things are getting faster. We're able to accomplish more in less time, but then there just becomes more things that we want to accomplish. I don't really know what the end game is. And I just don't know if I want to introduce a life to this. I mean, it's kind of like, I might go see a movie, right? And the movie's a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it, but would I go out and tell another person to watch that movie? Would I recommend that movie to somebody else?
Not even the same thing. Like, how do you compare apples to oranges like that? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad you're not wanting to procreate, man, because we don't need more people like you. That's the issue, right? Is we need more headstrong people who are willing to get it out the mud, innovators, hard workers, builders, people who want to change life and make it better for, future generations and whatnot. People who add positivity to this life, not people who complain.
If it's a 7 out of 10? Probably not. If the movie isn't fantastic, I'm not recommending it. So it's like, yeah, life has a lot of...
So if your life isn't fantastic, you're not recommending it. I hate to keep stopping this, but that doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Like, nobody's life is fantastic. You can have all the money in the world and you still probably be miserable because, life is about trials and tribulations.
A great thing. But would I recommend it to someone who hasn't experienced it? Someone like a consciousness. Would I be willing to bring a life into this world, knowing that there's all these challenges? I mean, we have 24 hours in a day, 8 hours sleeping, 8 hours working, then you got 8 hours left. And of that 8 hours, there's using the washroom and brushing your teeth and preparing meals and cleaning up after meals and getting to and from places. So you really only have a few quality hours per day to truly do whatever you want. I can think of a lot of cons for having children. Same things that you could think about, like, you have less time, you have less freedom, more responsibility, less time to focus on your desires and the things that fulfill you. And I guess one could argue that having children is a form of fulfillment in of itself. Being able...
What are you doing with all this free time that you have now that, the fact that you don't have kids? Like, what exactly, I would love to know with this extra time to live your life the way that you want to, the freedom to do whatever you want. What are you doing? Are you, developing anti-gravity technology? Are you solving world hunger? Or are you playing fucking Call of Duty?
Able to teach and share and kind of groom and watch a life grow. The benefits of that doesn't really appeal to me any more than sharing my life experience with my niece or nephew would appeal to me. So I don't know. I just don't know if I recommend it. And this is not me talking from a depressive state of mind. This is me just being normal and just kind of sharing my thoughts. There's a lot going on in the world, and I guess there always is. But I'm not so sure I'm happy with the way life is going. And if I was to bring a life into this world, it's almost as if I'm advocating for the experience. And I'm not sure that I am. I'm not sure that I do.
Weird. So would you have done it 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 50 years ago? Like, when was a better time ever? Or has it never been a better time? Are you saying that being a human being on this planet at any point in time has never been worth it, and you would never have recommended it?
If we had the ability to communicate with some other life form in another universe, something like that, through that communication, they were able to ask, hey, do you recommend this experience? Would I say yes? I don't know. I don't know. If life was a simulation, would I recommend it to other people? See, here's the thing. It's not that I don't recommend it outright. The problem is I don't know if I do recommend it, right? So it's not so much as me saying life sucks, don't do it. It's like, no, life's pretty good. There's a lot of great things about it. But is there enough for me to recommend it and say absolutely do it? Because
maybe it's just you don't recommend your life. You know what I mean? Like, would you recommend Bill Gates's life?
Right. I can't see myself having a child unless I absolutely want to have.
How about Joe Rogan? Would you recommend his life? I think I'd recommend Joe Rogan's life. Shout out to you, Joe.
Child. If you ask me, I would tell people you probably shouldn't have a child unless you're absolutely certain that you want one, because it's such a responsibility and it's such
That's the first thing that he said. That is facts. Okay, you shouldn't have a kid unless you absolutely want one. I swear, if you could plan for it, that's the best way to do it, and do it with a partner that you're able to be committed with, right?
A drain. You have to contribute so much into that activity that if you aren't prepared for it in the sense of knowing that you want to do it and you're up for that challenge, you probably shouldn't. because you might regret it. And I know people say, oh, you know, you don't regret having children, and just after a few years of like struggle, you get used to it. I don't expect anyone who has a child to tell somebody else that they regret having a child in person, because there's a lot of shame that comes with that, and you've already had the child, so you can't go back. But there's a lot of anonymous forums online, like on Reddit. There's a Reddit called Regretful Parents, and of course it's biased because everyone on there is coming there because they have an experience through parenthood that caused them to regret having a child. But it gives you a glimpse into a perspective that is very, very often not spoken about. The idea that having a child, you can go through the process and come out the other side and actually not be happy with the outcome. Like, you don't hear about that very often.
And that again was a
What? I hear about that all the time. Like, I feel like we hear about the negative aspects of having kids all the time. Like there's movies about it, TV shows, like comedy skits, right? Like we definitely hear about it. I don't really hear about the positives. The only time I hear about the positives are from, like, you know, other parents, like on occasion, you know what I mean? But like when I was a kid and when I was growing up, you know, the only thing I really heard was like, oh, you know, things change, and you know, you get used to it, kind of like what he said, you know. But like, when I see my kid's face light up because of Christmas, or she learned something new, or we do something fun and exciting, etc., right? Like, that shit is, I have played on stages in front of hundreds or thousands of people even, right? DJ sets, that's a whole nother lifetime, right? I played all over the globe. West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, Germany, Greece, where else? Bahrain, Dubai, Spain. I mean, I've played everywhere, and I love DJing for a crowd. I love DJing. And the feeling that I got on that stage was the most amazing thing in the world. Performing, hands in the air, the whole crowd is jumping, feeling you after the fact, even though all the, you know, this, we didn't have, like, you know, iPhones and stuff weren't like super popping in the early days, but you know, we didn't have all that. But the you know, selfies with the thing and the pictures and the, you know, seeing yourself in these events or videos of all, like, those are the best feelings that I ever had at that time. But they don't compare jack shit to what I feel when I see my kid hit a milestone, right? When I see growth from my child, or happiness, you know, or when she just comes in and tells me she loves me for the 575th time of that hour. my kid is she's great, right? But like, none of the times, the experiences that I've had in my single childless life compare to the feelings that I get from the experience of having a kid, right? So, you know, is it different? Yeah, of course it is. And did I have fun before? Psh, you best believe I could tell y'all stories that'd be crazy, right? But and I've lived a lot of life and have done all the good and most of the bad, right? But the feelings that I got from that versus the feelings that I get from my kids, these are like incomparable. And I feel like most parents, you know, most parents that have majority positive experience with having kids, you know, I feel like they would say the same thing. Now, obviously, there are parents who have had kids under the worst of situations and in the worst of circumstances, and I feel for those people. But that, you know, it's just like, would you recommend your life? Maybe not your life, but somebody else's, maybe. Right? Anyways, hey, chill with Bill. Child-free man speaking out on being child-free. You know, some of those guys, I'm not really sure about what to even think about them. But hey, no judgment here. Let's, you know, it is what it is. You know, stay